Welcome to the FnF Victory Road Draft League Season 2 Semifinals of Losers Bracket. This is going to be the determining set to see who goes on to the Losers Finals. The winner of this set will be in the running to be in the top 3. The loser will finish 4th place in playoffs. Lots on the line here. It's going to be a really interesting set. This is the set between Startoad, the Detroit Deinos, versus Morgana, Northern Necrozmas. So, as you know, this is a best of 3 set. The winner of this set must win 2 battles to advance. So let's take a look at these rosters. First of all, the Mega Pokemon available in this battle are Mega Gardevoir and Mega Garchomp, respectively. And then we also have Z Pokemon, Z Any Salamence, and Z Any Necrozma, respectively. So this is sure to be interesting. We do see some interesting matchups right off the bat. It does look like Gardevoir has a pretty nice matchup, being able to really harm Conkeldurr, Garchomp, and potentially even Gengar. Gengar going first might be bad for it, but it does look like it could be very valuable. And Necrozma also looks like it has a pretty good matchup. It will want to avoid Double Aid, but it does have access to Heat Wave and maybe even Z Heat Wave. But overall, it's extremely bulky, has a wide moveset, and it can hit quite a few of the Pokemon on Startoad's team pretty hard. I think it'll be interesting to see how they use their support Pokemon. Startoad bringing the Prankster Meowstic with screens, most likely, and Mantine actually has the ability to defog those screens away, as well as any hazards that might go up, like Sticky Web. So this is definitely going to be really interesting. It does look like it's going to be explosive, lots of really hard hitters on both sides. Morgana, a little bit more hard-hitting. Startoad, I think, has more defensive options, but we're going to see how this set goes. I'm ready to just jump right into it, and let's begin. Alright, forgot to post the link in the chat. Alright. So we are here, and in terms of leads, Startoad has led Araquanid a lot. I'm thinking he might go for Araquanid or Meowstic, maybe to set up screens. For Morgana, maybe Zeraora. Looks like actually the 2 Megas come out, Mega Gardevoir and Mega Garchomp, Gunkerton, the Mega Garchomp specifically. Of course, Gardevoir will have to be careful of Iron Head, but it is a little bit faster, so it can outspeed and use Hyper Voice. Nothing really wants to switch into a Hyper Voice from it, except maybe Mantine, but Mantine will have trouble if it has Thunderbolt. So right off the bat, this does look like a good lead for Startoad. Morgana is going to have to really be careful around this Mega Gardevoir. Looks like Gunkerton stays in. Gardevoir goes for the Hyper Voice, and that is enough to take out Gunkerton. And the score is 6-5, already an explosive start to this match. In comes Blacklight the Necrozma. And yeah, very unfortunate for Morgana, considering that Garchomp actually loses speed when it Mega Evolves. So it normally would be faster than Mega Gardevoir in its normal non-Mega state. But because it Mega Evolved, it was a little slower. Gardevoir was faster and able to take it out. Blacklight, a good defensive pick for Morgana. It can take a hit. Hyper Voice might do more than 50% if it's not invested in defenses, but it can hit pretty hard. Looks like Shadow Ball is the move that's used, and Blacklight goes for that Z move right off the bat. It's a Corkscrew Crash, and it takes out Mega Gardevoir. Score is 5-5 with Blacklight having 52%, and it looks like the 2 Megas are already down. 2 deaths in 2 turns already, quite the explosive match. Maybe Doublade is going to be the one who comes in to face Blacklight, being able to set up a Swords Dance if it retreats. And then nothing's going to want to take a hit from Doublade. It hits pretty hard after a Swords Dance and also is very bulky with Eviolite. It looks like Meowstic is the next one to come in. That's Meowstic M, the Prankster support Pokemon. And a Light Screen is now up. Stealth Rock is also now up on Startoad's side, which is going to be pretty detrimental to him considering he has 3 Pokemon that are weak to Stealth Rock. Meowstic, while a decent support Pokemon, has a lot of trouble making any offensive presence, so Blacklight is pretty comfortable right now. If it wants to go ahead and Moonlight, it can. The question is, will Startoad try to set up another screen? Will Startoad switch out? What is he going to do now? He doesn't have a lot of momentum right now, whereas Morgana does have a little bit of momentum. Not sure what Blacklight's going to be able to do with Meowstic, especially with the Light Screen up, though. Of course, Meowstic does have other moves aside from the screens. It can also Thunder Wave, which could be useful against Blacklight later down the line, especially considering there are a few slow Pokemon on the team, such as Araquanid and Doublade that would love to hit first. But it looks like Chimley Manly, the Mantine, comes in, taking that Yawn and becoming Drowsy. Chimley Manly, the god of Mantines. And I believe also a shiny Mantine? The blue just looks different, like ever so slightly different, that it could be a shiny, but I'm not sure. So that Yawn could very well force Mantine to switch out into something else. Perhaps Necrozma to come back in again. And in comes Salamence. Will Chimley Manly switch out? It does. Jet Setter, the Zeraora, is the one who comes in. Salamence having really strong attack and behind the Light Screen, which helps it out a lot. But if Jet Setter has Outrage, that could be very detrimental to Salamence. Of course, Jet Setter not going to want to be locked into Outrage, considering it could be easily picked apart by something else to come in, perhaps Araquanid, since it will be locked in. So Jet Setter's in a dangerous situation right now. Salamence can start to set up, but it looks like actually Jet Setter is the one who starts to set up with a bulk up. Salamence going for the Dragon Dance, and Salamence will hit normally now with Earthquake. The Shuka Berry is actually going to weaken that Earthquake, and the Plasma Fist hits, and down goes Salamence. Really interesting exchange there. It looks like Jet Setter was really ready for that Salamence. Now Jet Setter with 1.5 attack and defense is going to be really hard to take out for the remaining Pokemon that all hit typically on the physical side. Jet Setter looking really comfortable right now. Score is 4-5. There is a Light Screen up, but not a Reflect up. We might see Meowstic try to set up a Reflect right now instead of a Light Screen, or try to force Jet Setter out with a Yawn. And indeed, it does look like the Yawn is going to force out Jet Setter. Knockoff removes that Light Clay from Meowstic and leaves it at 1%. It can't come back in on those rocks. Just barely not killing Meowstic actually might have been preferable for Jet Setter now that it could switch out, and Meowstic doesn't really have a lot of attacking options, so the switch in will be pretty comfortable as Meowstic doesn't really want to lose that last HP switching in on Stealth Rocket. Will probably stay in and set up a Reflect. So in comes Necrozma, and indeed the Reflect is now up. Reflect for 4 more turns, Light Screen for 1 more turn. The Light Screen will run out next turn, and Meowstic is looking pretty uncomfortable right now. And that final Yawn is going to pressure Blacklight to switch out next turn. Down Meowstic goes to the Photon Geyser, and the score is now 3-5. Light Screen is also gone as well. Doublade is the next Pokemon to come in. If Blacklight has Heat Wave, it could do big damage, but Doublade does have access to Swords Dance. This is Startoad's moment to try and get a Swords Dance up. With Swords Dance up, Doublade is looking extremely potent to the rest of Morgana's team. This fight is definitely not over. I'm thinking we'll see Conkeldurr switch in. It does have access to Knockoff, which could remove the Eviolite, but actually Blacklight goes for the Earth Power, and that's going to bring Doublade down to 8%. Blacklight now asleep, however, and Doublade hanging on. It does have access to Shadow Sneak, which will do massive damage to anything that it can hit with that 2x attack. Another thing to consider is that there are no hazards on Morgana's side of the field, so Gengar still can switch in for free if it's holding a Focus Sash and pick out Doublade. Chimley Manly is going to come in to take that Shadow Claw. It does about 61%. Chimley Manly now at 45%. A Shadow Sneak might not be enough to take it down, whereas it can Scald to take down this Doublade. Score is 3-5 with Doublade barely hanging on. A Reflect is up, but Chimley Manly is not going to need to worry about that due to the fact that it doesn't really hit on the physical side. He might run Choice Band Mantine one day, but today doesn't seem to be that day. So Mantine actually goes for the Roost as Doublade goes for the Shadow Claw once again, bringing Mantine down to 34%. Shadow Sneak brings Mantine down to 6%, and the Scald is going to take out Doublade as the score becomes 2-5. Chimley Manly hanging on barely at 12%. Crobat's the next one to come in, and it can pick apart Chimley Manly, but it does fear Scald. And that Brave Bird is going to take down Mantine, and the score is now 2-4. Of course, Zeraora is looking like a threat. With Plasma Fists, it might be able to take down these remaining 2 Pokemon without going down to that Brave Bird from Crobat, and it does outspeed Crobat as well. Crobat now at 71%, and indeed Jet Setter is the one who comes out with half of its HP left intact. If Crobat has Choice Scarf, which does look like it does, takes down Jet Setter to 11%, but it's not enough to take it out as Plasma Fist takes it down. And the last Pokemon is Araquanid. Not looking good for Araquanid right now, who takes some damage from the Stealth Rock. Jet Setter uses those Plasma Fists, and down goes Araquanid. The score is 4-0. in favor of Morgana. Morgana wins this first match versus Startoad. What an explosive match. We didn't even reach 20 turns, both of the sides using their hyper offense to their fullest potential. And now both trainers will have 30 minutes before the next battle to make any edits to their teams that they desire. Stay tuned for the next battle of the set. This is Noel from Sun and Friendly. I'll see you then.